Minutes. Nigel came down to Brockville last week in the house floor. He wondered why he couldn't get in the building and couldn't lock up.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome, community board members, staff, members of the public. And this evening, I'm going to start with a character, a board member who is zooming in. Will do that for us. So welcome, Mel.
Kia ora, Tom. Tukua te wairua kia rere ki ngā taumata. Hai arahi I a tātou mahi. Me tā tātou whai I ngā tikanga a rātou mā. Kia mau kia ita. Kia kore ai I ngaro. Kia pupuri. Kia whakamaua. Kia tina. Tina. Hui e taiki.
And just in case they don't fully understand Te Reo,
No, that's different. That's the different.
you're going to read this one here.
Oh, no, that's a different.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's-
What's that, the one we just did?
No, this one, yeah.
Okay, I'll rescind that comment.
Okay.
Why are we doing that? Okay. So, health and safety briefings, just quickly, exits are clearly marked. Please go to the Texas Street should something occur. So far, we've been very lucky with nothing occurring, so I hope that stays with us today. Just assemble in the street outside and wait for the building to be cleared or confirmed. The meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the Council's YouTube channel. To start with, is there any extraordinary business?
Yes, please. I would like to add an item to extraordinary business. I'd like to add an appendix 3 to the income and expenditure report. It is under agenda item 9.4. This is Payne Farm financials that relate to the financial year that ends 30th of June. That will give you an idea of the financial year end for Payne Farm when setting your allocations for Payne Farm funding.
Okay,
And it was received later and we feel it can't be delayed just due to the funding rounds being set today.
right, thank you. Do we have any questions or what will we get there?
Somebody to
move that we. Thank you, Aidan. Seconded. Thank you. Please excuse my strange voice. You might say I'm strange all the time, but I've got a head cold of some sorts. Haven't had one for years. I thought I had COVID. Took a COVID test. Negative, not COVID.
Sorry.
Safe. But it just really is annoying. I haven't had one for so long, and it sort of interferes with everything, including my ability to think. So anyway, that's a small excuse. So we've had acceptance and nomination. Yes, we have.
Yep, we just need to carry it.
Do we need anybody all in favour?
No.
Aye.
Any against? No. Okay.
Thank you.
So do we have any apologies? I think we do.
Councillor Maynard,
Councillor Maynard, yes.
since your apologies.
Prior commitment, understood. Anybody else? Anybody else is here? That's good. Do we have any declared interests or conflicts of
I
interest?
just need somebody to move. We've got an appointment.
Okay, sorry. We just need to move that apology. Thank you, Angela. Seconded. Thank you.
You,
Oh, you seconded too, or are you saying something?
no. Bring it as well.
Okay, so moving on now. Do we have any conflicts of interest? Sounds like a no.
Trees.
You have a conflict of interest.
Trees.
Oh.
Tree.
Oh, I don't know.
Do I? Does it count as a conflict?
We'll take it as a potential conflict of interest because you're on the request sheet, so maybe that is a conflict of interest. So you just have to remind yourself not to speak when we're talking about that one.
I'll remind.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
We have an acknowledgement or tribute. No, so we can move on. Community board minutes. Can I have somebody to nominate to accept the last meeting notes as being full and correct.
I will.
You have a seconder?
Thank you.
Okay. So accept then, there's no comment to make within that. So we move on to the next item, and look, we're going to leave it open to get the members of the public to participate. So we have down Mary first and then Anna. We don't have to take it in that order. It's up to you two, whichever one you want to come first. We've only got tonight. Okay, come forward. Look, you can come forward even closer if you wish, because the other thing that Mel can't see you. So if you come and sit down here, you come and sit down here.
Sit down, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Just makes it easier for everybody to see who's talking.
Hi, I'm Anna. So I'm here on behalf of Martinborough Play Centre, and we're applying for the one-off funding through the Community Board Fund. We've recently had a bit of a break-in, which made us realise we had to upgrade our security system. So I've actually had a quote from Boney from Mode Living Securitel in Martinborough. He's actually happy to half the cost for us and sponsor us a little bit, so it's only going to be $1,000 for that instead of $2,000. And I did put on here that we'd like some money for the windows as well. Actually, the Martinborough or the Play Centre board have requested we do it a certain way, so they're actually going to help us with that. It's up to using our money, so it's basically just $1,000 now that we're requesting for the grant for the security system.
Okay.
Hopefully we don't have any more break-ins.
No, hopefully not. Was there any significant damage? Yes, or-
We had a phone stolen and some windows. I mean, no, it was actually a very polite break-in, weirdly, but I think we have windows that are slate,
Yeah,
and someone had taken them out, wrapped them and placed them outside very nicely.
very, very kind of them.
And so someone was desperate for a few things and being nice, but it did make us realise actually we're a bit vulnerable.
Yeah. So is Tony's quote giving you all the cover you need?
I think so. So he's happy to donate some equipment that he's already got and then just charge us. He said it'd be $1,000 or a little bit more.
You're already connected to Wi-Fi,
Yes.
so yeah, monitor them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll go off and call someone and make sure what we
We
need.
had another local alarm installer who also offered that cost for the materials, and he was going to do it for free for an install if you didn't have Tony already lined up.
Oh, okay.
So we did have another person lined up as well.
Oh, that's
So which was really nice when he found out it was.
yeah.
Can I give a call or does it just make a big noise?
I think we can connect it to probably like the Play Centre president's phone at the time, but we do have a member across the road who will be able to run over when the alarm goes off. Yeah.
Would be enough as well.
Another
Yeah.
away. It was stolen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So does anyone have any further questions? Is that all complete presentation?
Yep.
Okay, very good.
That's it.
Were the police able to get any fingerprints from those windows?
They did come and take some fingerprints, but we haven't heard anything. So yeah, we have to have the whole. Yeah.
Anna, do you have any written pricing from Tony or not?
No, it was just verbal.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just going to have a look around to see what he can find
Okay,
first.
If you do need a second quote on it,
Yeah.
just Shavana, well, or you can get my details off the
Yeah.
council website. I can pop you in touch with the guy.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
it would be nice if you can just jot us a note on what you expect the cost to be.
Okay.
Not that it's going to affect anything, it's just
Yeah.
gives us a record of what
Yeah.
it's about.
Yeah, because he verbally said 1,000, but he hasn't actually confirmed via email yet.
I know it can sometimes be difficult to get paperwork out of Tony.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
face to face, great, but yeah, paperwork's a bit,
Not his best thing.
no, I've learned that.
So if you can get something, that'd be great.
Okay,
Send us through an email to put it to the community or to Nikki.
perfect. All right, I'll chase them up.
Okay, very good.
Good idea.
Oh,
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Anna.
Okay. Yeah, is that the only,
That's Mary, and just Mary left. We've got Mary,
Mary, would you like to come forward?
Lake Ferry Township.
Okay, this is for Lake Ferry Township. Getting up. City one.
I'm Mary Kipling, and I originally wrote my spiel to go to the councillors, but I wasn't able to get in the day that they had advised me of. They rang to say they couldn't fit me in, so I decided instead I would come. Some of what I'm saying is actually what I wrote in your speech, so you'll find it a little not appropriate for what I'm doing. In 2002, my husband and I bought the lease of the Lake Ferry Motor Camp. At that time, only half of its 7 acres was being used by the public for camping. The business was in poor shape and had been on the market for 10 years. I note that council has borrowed $209,000 to upgrade the camp. Morris and I paid much more than this to upgrade it over a 21-year period out of our own income. We built accommodation units, a new ablution block, a sewerage system, 50 more power points, planted native shade and shelter belts, as well as maintaining existing assets. The camp is 100 years old and it is still very popular with the public. They like its flavour and we have enhanced that. We also committed time to the community. The council had failed to stand a few pine trees along the foreshore before we bought the camp and left the trees lying at the northern end. We formed a committee, raised funds to remove these trees and built a playground, considering improving the recreational area. We also planted the foreshore with a view to restoring Lake Wanaki's ecosystem. When I lost my husband in 2019, the council officers began a regime of bullying, harassment and intimidation, inspecting the camp monthly, sending me threatening emails and legal letters with various demands, holding public meetings to discuss me and my business. I tried to communicate with them, speaking with them and writing emails, but no one was listening to me. I was denied consent to operate the camp. Finally, I was denied the right of renewal of the lease, and councillors agreed to buy the assets of the camp, paying me just $80,000 more for it than Morris and I had paid 21 years earlier. I've been a ratepayer for 50 years. I have a vested interest in the South Wairarapa. I note the way you are now running the camp and do call it into question. My great disappointment is that before buying the assets of the camp off me, not one councillor came to visit the camp or talk to me about the circumstances of the sale. I vote for 3 councillors each term. You are my elected representatives. We were denied a lease renewal on a legal technicality, the definition of a living place. Council obtained opinions from the 2 legal advisors. These opinions differed from each other. I have an opinion from a barrister, which is the same as one of the council's advisors. The $500,000 that has been spent on the camping ground need not have been spent. Council will call for tenders to buy the lease of the camp next July. I have nothing further to do with the camp, but I am still a ratepayer and own a business at Lake Ferry. My concern, and the concern of others, is that Kiwi Camp will get this lease, these people. And this is why we are concerned. Chris Wagner does not live here and never will. He lives in Blenheim. He knows nothing about the area. He runs the camp with the use of an electronic barrier. There is no office, so no reception or hospitality. Is this what we want for our tourist industry? One of our most important jobs over 21 years is hosting our clients, welcoming them, giving them information about the area, ensuring that they were happy with our service. This all needs to be done on site. At times when we're hosting 300 people, there are other issues. For example, sudden illness requiring ambulance attention, even helicopter evacuation, vandalism, police visits for various reasons. We are also civil defence coordinators, ensuring the evacuation of the camp during 2 tsunami warnings. We negotiated the camp through the health issues of COVID. There are so many problems that will arise if the lease of this camp goes to Kiwi Camp, so I am here to warn you. Chris Wagner is also not treating people fairly, and it seems council does not want to know about this. There is another issue that I have asked 2 council officers, 2 councillors and the mayor to come and have a look at it. No one has come. I don't really think it is my job to come in here and tell you, except it affects a number of us in the village. So, is that my time up?
Don't have a time limit.
Well, I'll quickly tell you what it is. When the council removed the trees behind the Lake Ferry Village, it's created a problem for us all. Now, there is some concern that the seepage that's coming off the hill could be sewage because they cut the sewage line up the top of the hill at the time. We have a wetlands area that's developed behind our villas. We also have concerns with that could be because we'd consented to 3 more villas there, just as well we didn't build them because now we've got wetlands. The paddock beside our villas is a disgrace. Someone needs to go and have a look at it. It's overgrown, it's got gorse coming up in it, even the verge, because Morris and I used to do this, but since we don't own the camp, no, we're not involved with mowing the verges. If Morris was here, he'd be concerned about the long grass in summer. That's a fire hazard. I don't know what's to be done about it. We used to graze it. We had it fenced and we grazed it. So that's a possibility. Anyway, I think it needs attention and there are a number of us who've tried. One of my neighbours, I discussed it with him recently, and he's been to council, he's been to the regional council, and with no result. So he's a bit confused like I as to who we should be talking about this. There are Wilding pines that are right on our hotel boundary that are going to be removed. There's also gorse encroaching on our boundary. But the wetlands is the most concerning thing because we know that that line, when they felled the trees, it wasn't the person who felled them, but they cut the sewage and that sewage is still going who knows where. We just want it investigated. That's
Mary, for my enlightenment, who owns the land you're talking of? Is that part of the campground?
council.
It's part of the campground. It's not adjacent to it. Is that the same as?
As I said, Mox and I maintained the verge. It's because we had a big mower for the camp. So when we were doing, our the camp, we also mowed the verges. We mowed the Anzac place. We mowed behind the fire stations. We did a lot of extra mowing as part of our community, and we mowed that verge and we kept that paddock tidy. But that's not.
So is the paddock between the villas and the trees on the bank, on the pine trees that were felled off on that bank? Is that the paddock you're talking about? It's overgrown.
Sorry, can I just say something here? The land Mary's talking about is the Lake Ferry wastewater plant, so the wastewater goes to the hill up above.
Yes, that's right.
The Lake Ferry Township.
Yes.
So what she's saying is that from that hill, there is a high concern about what is potentially coming out of there.
What is coming out?
Like there's a number of issues, including runoff that's creating a wetland. I think boundaries may need to be checked, but I'll leave that to you guys to keep discussing it. I just wanted to make that clear that the bit of land that Mary was talking about, where the trees were felled, where the that was up there as well. So they've removed the trees, but where the mitigations have been put in place to prevent runoff, and maybe that's something that's growing or whatever, but people just need to know. So yeah.
Look,
is that all right, Mary?
Pardon me.
Sorry, I was just saying, sorry to interrupt you.
That's right. I'm trying to keep my train of thought for myself. So the trees were felled. The land up the top of the hill, 45 acres of it, is leased out to Donald McRae. So the fields.
What purpose? Farming?
Yes. The fields, which are supposed to be pure water, they were interrupted. And this is what the line was cut. The non-treated sewage line was cut. And so look, I'm not absolutely sure. I've been up there, so I've seen what's happening. And really, what I've been asking is someone to come and have a look. It's not something that I can come here and tell you about. It's not really my responsibility either.
No.
But we are affected, as are a number. My sister-in-law, who lives just down the road, if you go, you will see wet patches coming across the road. It's draining through people's properties.
Okay.
And it is a health and safety issue, if it's sewage or not. But it needs to be tested, needs to be analysed. It needs for someone to take an interest. That's why I've come here to talk about Lake Ferry, because these issues of the camping ground, the issues of the hill, we're all a small community. We all know what's going on. You can't live in isolation when you live at Lake Ferry. We all have concerns about the same thing. It's good to get the story straight on whatever it is we're talking about.
Okay. But Mary, from what I've heard, I think we can maybe create an action plan. I'll talk to the CEO who's sitting just behind you.
Yes.
To see if that's the appropriate protocol to request somebody to go and inspect. We create an action plan to that effect from here. So that's what we plan to do. We'll create an action plan from this meeting with the council. We'll ask them to send somebody out to do an inspection, and the CEO is here, and hopefully we can work together to get an appropriate visitation and inspect what's going on.
Very much.
All right.
Oh, kia ora, Mary, just before you go, Mary, thank you so much, because you really always take you're so community minded. There's all of our spaces in the South Wairarapa tend to have their champions and the people who do actually bring the issues to council, because otherwise we don't know that these things are happening or that there's concerns rising within these small communities. So you've always been that person, Mary. One of the main ones from out at Lake Ferry and Pirinoa, and it's really appreciated. But I most certainly want to say that it is recognised that the Te Pōki name has meant hospitality at the southernmost tip of the Wairarapa for generations now, because there is generations and generations of us who have gone through the different roles you've held, owning the Lake Ferry Hotel, and then further on the campgrounds. And Mary, I just hope you understand that there's all of us too, that we do recognise that, and it's all we already know. Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. So what we plan to do, Mary, is put an action request to council for somebody to go and inspect at a convenient time for everybody. You agree?
So are we talking, because there's like two issues here, isn't there? There's
Can we perhaps discuss that in the actual item?
later.
Okay, fair enough. Move on to it. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Move on to action items.
Huh?
Yeah, we'll move on to action items.
Okay. So
Yeah, we move on to that now.
so is that we're going to discuss this?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So we go now, by the way, public, you're allowed to go. You don't have to, you're not chained to the door.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh, is there no Martin tonight, this evening?
Sorry?
No,
No,
Martin.
Martin can't make it tonight.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
It's the last one. Oh, Martin Free.
Yeah. Good, mate.
We presented last time. Yes.
So moving to
Good.
action items, do we wish to discuss particularly that? Well, let's discuss the simple one for Anna. I think we can agree to do that. I think we have an agreement to do that.
That's
the
the
grant.
We'll discuss the grant pool too, but we'll do that. So the action item coming from this would appear to be what can we do to assist, and the suggestion is maybe if we can get somebody from council to go and inspect the location. I'm not sure the detail. I think there was two options that would possibly, whether we can get somebody. Stefan, can you throw any light? Is one person capable of going out and inspecting all that, or do you need a couple of people to do it?
Particularly boundary inspection.
I can arrange someone to go out and have a look. I mean, just for the information of the. We've been working with landowners at the Lake Ferry for some months now.
Possibly more than a year about that leakage of that seepage.
But there's been water flowing down from the top of that hill onto properties for a long time, but over the past 18 months, because we've had a lot of bad weather, it's been very pronounced. And we've been we've been a good neighbour. We've gone up and we've moved earth, we've put drains in. We've taken mitigation measures where we can in order to try and stop water coming down the hill. But the reality is they're living at those houses are all situated at the bottom of a very steep hill, and they are receiving quite a lot of stormwater. Now, there has been some talk of that water being sewage, and there was test results provided which have shown in one case that it's definitely not sewage. It's not even treated wastewater. It's stormwater, But I'm happy to go down there and have a look at the problem. I haven't, to my knowledge, I haven't got an action on that in the council. There's no outstanding request or anything like that. If someone asked me to go down and get the team to have a look at problems down there, I'm very happy, of course, to go down and investigate.
Okay, well, it sounds like from that, Stephen, that you've got some serious understanding that it's not sewage, which is the main concern I would have.
So how many times have you tested it? You said it on
No,
one occasion?
we've only ever had one testing result, but what I did was, because we were worried about it, it would be a very serious issue if there was sewage in people's houses. I mean, so what we did was we got the Wellington Water team to go out there, fully inspect the site. I went with them, and I'm satisfied that there's no wastewater leakage from that plant, and so are Wellington Water. But look, if we have to provide a further assurance in order to make sure that residents out there feel safe, or things may have changed since we did that inspection, which was about 6 months ago. So be it. If that, we can certainly do that.
But I'd like to suggest that perhaps as a follow-on from the inspection, if we made a report that was available to the residents, that might help allay some fears if they know that there is an actual report that's been generated from an inspection. That would be probably soothing everybody. That would be a good idea.
Look, I'm happy to go down there, find out what's going on, do an inspection, get Wellington Water involved, and then, as you say, Chair, communicate the results of that to everyone, so they all get the same information.
So Harry seemed to have a belief that there was a pipe was cut. Is that right? Is that
what happened was council, and this happened when I was on the community board probably 3 years ago. The council contracted for all the pine trees along that face to be logged, and the logging contractor had the machinery up the top and knew and had been told where the lines were for the sewage treatment plant, but still took the machinery over those lines and damaged those lines. And council followed up with the contractors, and those lines were remediated and repaired as soon as it was known that there was an issue with them. So that was not a long time ago, but it did occur, and it has been resolved and sorted out. And I think, those discussions about sewage leaking and coming down, obviously Stefan's tested. I think we probably just need to keep in mind that this winter that we've just had has probably been the wettest winter.
Yeah.
Since 1977.
So would we have any written reports from that activity?
Oh, well, there was discussions about it in the Martinborough Community Board in the last triennium. I don't know if there were any reports, but certainly the CE at the time was well and truly aware and was ensuring that Wellington Water was up there to sort those issues out and remediate everything.
Because we could tie those in, because they would.
Well, I think that was, but I mean, still, I think, that happened back then. I mean, obviously, and the work took place and was remediated and occurred. I think, if Stefan's talking and saying that, perhaps where there's any more testing to be done now, if that information can be shared with people down there, I think everybody knew at the time that Wellington Water was up there to make those repairs when it all happened.
I'm not quite sure that Mary understands.
And not just her, there's obviously, that's the thing is that we talk about not sharing those stories. And so when these things happen, we need to front it and let the communities know, and make sure that it is fed right out into those communities, which isn't necessarily through a paper release or a comms in that particular style. So there's, I think that just might have been, like you say, a stage that was missed. Certainly, yeah, I appreciate, Stefan, that you are making the offer and going to go out there with Mary for a walk around and a look around with her, so she can show you where their concerns lie and what she's actually talking about. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think if Stefan's report can cover that there's no sewage contamination, that would probably put that to rest.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yes, yeah, certainly, Chair.
Okay.
I did want to make one further comment, if that's right.
Sure.
Mary Cocky made a couple of statements about the council having treated her badly, employed her and so forth. I want to put on record the fact that we absolutely refute those statements. She has made similar statements in the media while we've been going through a negotiated legal process to purchase the Lake Ferry campground assets of her. There is no truth in those statements.
You got that covered? Okay, we've got that covered.
Sorry, I'm missing something here. I don't know.
Well, we've got that. Sorry, excuse me. We've got that covered. That Stefan refutes some of the statements that Mary made.
Yeah.
So we just got that covered in the notes here.
I'd just like to add that I think, and certainly when I came on board Martinborough Community Board in 2019, we were council was working with the Tapokis. So it's been a long process for council to work through all the issues with the Tapokis, and it hasn't been anything which has just happened overnight. It's taken a long time to work through and resolve.
I think based on the experience I have, Mary feels aggrieved.
Hi.
And we don't seem to have addressed them. I think if we can resolve the problems we're talking about here,
that helps build those relationships.
We can maybe settle down with Mary and talk about what we're trying to do and move on from there. I think we do have to move on though.
Yeah. Can I just ask a question about the campground? So the current campground, the top 10 one we have here in Martinborough, one of the conditions is that they have managers living on site. It's been one of the things that's usually been standard. So I can understand Mary's concerns when we've got a campsite with no one actually living on site and managing the campground. As in, if something does happen or.
There is such a huge fire risk. Sorry, through you, Chair, but the fire risk out there is huge. So staying on top of the mown verges, ensuring that things don't get overgrown is actually it's never more important than it is at this time of year, because people who aren't used to being outdoors are going to go racing out there to be outdoors for the first time in their lives and light fires and all sorts of things, which happens every summer. So
I suppose the question
is real.
The question comes back to who's doing the inspections
For what?
for the campground if there's no one actually living on site.
I know. Stephen, can you add something to that?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Chair. So the current situation in the campground is that Kiwi Camp don't have a lease to operate it. They've got a 1 year service level contract in place with us.
Yep.
The main purpose of the service level contract is to bring the campground up to a level where they can be legally certified, because the Pocky family unfortunately was unable to do that, and that was the reason they were unable to sell the property on the open market, and why we stepped in and offered to purchase it from them on behalf of ratepayers. So there's a year there where Kiwi Campers are upgrading the facilities, making sure that it's fire safe on the property, that the units aren't too close to one another, so they can, would catch fire. If one of them catches fire, they will go up in a row, that kind of thing. All the concerns that we had about the camp. In the first place, Kiwi Campers there to rectify that. Then at the end of that, there's an open tender process. So we haven't, Angela, to answer your question, we haven't set the terms of a lease or considered the terms of a lease yet. But we're in an interim period where we're just trying to get the camp up to a legal standard so it can be certified, and so we can potentially enter into a long-term lease at that.
So just a question then, is it the intention of the council to keep owning the site? Or do you have desires to sell?
It's our intention to offer a lease. There's been no discussion of selling the land. That would be a radical step.
Yeah.
It's to sell the land and to make sure that the seller. I think the thing we share in common with Mary's property is that we want that site to be something that we're very proud of and an important part of South Wairarappa's tourism infrastructure.
What are your comments about her comments that the grass is all overgrown and the verges aren't maintained?
Well, at the moment, I don't know if you own a big section, but I do. The grass is growing pretty fast. We're receiving a lot of complaints from people that the grass is too tall and it's a fire risk. And there's grass down the end of my street on Battersea Road. I can't see around the corner. It's dangerous.
So when are they cutting it?
Well, I don't know the answer to that. But
I've asked the council to cut my grass, right?
Yeah, so do we.
Sorry, the council used to have a mowing program towards summertime where the contractors would go and mow right out rurally to cover the.
Can we direct that, or
is that no longer happening? I wondered.
Rather than get into the intricacies of
James is there. James is there. Oh.
Sorry, Chair.
Sorry.
Rather than getting into the intricacies of that, what I suggest is that I'll put that on my list of things that I need to have a look at. If a job needs to be logged, I'll log that job, and I'll make sure that it's in the system to be allocated.
Probably one of those things that Stefan can tick off.
Sorry, it's just that if owners are responsible for mowing the verges, is it the people who aren't there who have the lease, or is it council's responsibility to mow those verges?
By the sounds of it,
James knows.
yeah, I'll get James.
Sorry, that was just a question.
Yeah, James, do you want to say something? Hello, James.
Can you hear me?
We can. Can't see you, but we can hear you.
Fantastic. Sorry, just coming a bit late on this conversation. So the berms out there, that yes, they are the responsibility at the moment of the landowners. There is actually, I just heard comment before about no manager, no one living on site out at the Lake Ferry campground. That's incorrect. Kiwi Camp do have a manager that lives on site out there, and part of their remit is looking after grounds and various things like that. So, and I've met him as well. I've been out there a few times, so I can confirm that.
Thank you.
That's good. Yeah,
That's clarified something.
I've just got one more thing to say on the campground. Just because I was working at the eyesight, I just asked if they'd had any feedback, and they said really positive feedback about the campground.
Okay, that's good.
Really positive feedback.
So look, some of these things we can put forward for the long-term plan to make suggestions how we manage that. So that's what we'll do. So if we've finished, is there any further discussion on that topic? Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Happy, Mel? Okay. All right, so now where we go to, chairperson's report. I have to confess, I don't know that I actually did this. Did I?
It wasn't, through you, Chair. It was a joint effort. It was
Joint
a
effort,
community
okay.
effort, yeah.
Fair enough. I'll take responsibility for it anyway.
The good bits.
Just for the good thing that I am, yes. So can I have somebody to receive the report
Yep.
and somebody to second that.
Oh, Mel, we've got Mel.
Good on you, Mel. Thank you. So the first item, and look, it's brief because it is brief and we're getting to the end of life for this year. The thing about and is this where we can introduce the funding?
I put it in the financial.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it with the financials, but the pay and farm grants and funding. We're getting a bit of pressure from the public to make some commitments. I have verbally given some commitments that we will be announcing them in the early part of next year, which I think is acceptable. But does anybody have any comments about the funding for from the Payne Farm?
Funding.
The items we've agreed to fund for Payne Farm.
Well, it's the amount, the grant amount that you would like to set. So
The pool.
for you, Chair, yeah. What would be good to get a resolution for today is when you would like the grant funding round to open and close, and how much you would like in the grant pool for that application.
We're trying to work out what we can safely use for.
So this is where I'd like to comment. I think we need to see this in this discussion, otherwise we don't know how much we've got.
Okay.
So I think if you look at the report on the statement, I do have a couple of things that I'm not quite sure about. Firstly, in the Payne Farm statement of accumulated funds, it is an opening balance 116,203. That doesn't tie up with anything else I see. Where does that sum come from?
I can make notes.
Okay.
Questions.
So what that does to me is tell me, how do we make sense of how much actual funding we have available?
Well, I think reading that slot, that 116,203 says that's the opening balance in the account.
Yeah, I know what
on
it's
the
here.
1st of July 2022.
Yeah.
And then the total funds available, and then the closing balance on the 30th of June 2023 is 155,000. So total funds available, my reading of that sheet is 155,000.
And I agree with it. I just don't know where the numbers come from. That's what I'm talking about. I can see the two numbers below, no problem with that.
Yeah.
But I can't see where that 116 came from. It's only probably splitting hairs a wee bit, but it just.
It's the closing balance from 20.
Sorry.
And because there hasn't, I imagine, it's because there hasn't been the accounts, and whether or not or someone goes back through the minutes from the 1st of July 2022 to see what the previous accounts or set of financial, but I'd assume that would be the same sort of information as what we've been delivered or supplied here today.
Yeah.
For that, from the 2021-2022 year.
Yeah.
So, sorry, through you, Chair, if I could just ask a question, because my reading of that is that the opening balance on the 1st of July, 2022, 116, and then what we have in there now is 155. But that means that the operating costs are, if you actually have a look at what the operating costs are that this bears, I mean, the difference in what has actually been made from last year through to if we don't have do we have an opening balance for the 2023?
Opening balance, you've got opening balance of 1st of July 2023 is 155,111, which is carried forward. Yeah, so if you look at your.
So yeah, so that's $40,000, not 155,000. And I think so this is where we need to be really careful because isn't it? Am I right?
No, you've got your opening balance is 116, and then if you look at the accounts above, it's your net surplus, that's the 68,000 added to it on there, which is what's giving you the 155,111, which is then carried forward from this financial year as 155,11. The concern I have is if we look at our total funds available as at September, it's reduced right down to 98,000 from 155,000. So there's a huge amount gone out. So
the first 3 months of this year.
So
10,000
does anyone know what that big cost was that went out? James or Stefan?
Right, so beg you mean.
So what, can we ask what this $10,000 is made up of?
That's what I'm asking if James
Yeah.
or Stefan can
And
help
is
us
it an
with that.
estimate? Because it's a very odd number to have more than one item to be exactly
I thought that was
$10,000.
the guy who did the land lease.
Do you understand my question? Through the chair, $10,000?
Yeah, it's a very,
Else, look,
very nice number.
sorry,
It's nice.
Very nice number.
Stephen.
I'm not being nice to you.
No,
Yeah, I am, I always am. No, but why is it $10,000?
I don't know. I can't answer.
If it's more than one item, it would be highly coincidental for it to add up to exactly 10,000.
Exactly.
So is that an estimate? That's my question.
Don't know. I can't answer that.
The actual.
I've struggled with the statement from day one.
These are the actuals.
The actual, so,
So it's an actual figure.
you know, call me skeptical, but it seems very odd that more than one item would add up to exactly $10,000.
But we know the legal expenses added up to exactly 1,000. Yeah, don't
The limit of
they?
things.
The legal one.
So
That's the
it's
1,000.
like we've
Okay.
run around in circles a bit here.
Through you, Chair, I think over the last few meetings, we've discussed the financials and gone around in circles a number of times. I think what the Chair was wanting to do earlier was to discuss funding round from paying a funding round and set a date for when we could start or when the community board could let the public know that funding was available and also set an amount. I think, you know, if we don't, I mean, we know that we can see these, I would say sufficient funds here. I think we just need to set a value. I don't think we need to be setting a value of 100,000 or 155,000 to go and divide up in amongst community organisation around Martinborough. I think if we come up with a value of less than that, well then the fund is going to be safe going forward.
Yeah.
I agree, Aidan. I think, yeah, like thinking of a lower number.
The only thing I want to make sure about is we do know what we've got coming forward every time. We have an accurate number of income.
I also think that period is the period that all the rates come out, because that threw me at this time last year. So $11,000, I think that's the full year of rates that come out in that period. And I'm guessing that $10,000 will be consultants to do with releasing the farm. So we wouldn't, I don't know, you have to guess because it doesn't know, but I would think that would be an unusually high.
That 10,000 is under repair and maintenance. You talk about?
No, consultants.
Consultants.
The 3 months from September since that year.
In your accounts, not that
3 months. But we'll definitely have a reasonable surplus that we.
Sure, yeah.
So through you, Chair, just two comments is firstly, under the income distribution policy, you do need to still reserve 40k.
Yeah.
40.
That money.
Sorry, Nikki, that's exactly what I was just about to say. So if it's, so that's why, that's the other thing, is that we must reserve that 40,000 for repairs.
Yeah. Yeah, and also that any grant application over 35k will need to go to council for sign off.
Yeah.
Under that current Payne Farm income distribution policy that is up for renewal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Through you, Chair, I'd like to move that perhaps from the 1st of February, Community Board, the 1st of February 2024, the Community Board opens it up for applications for perhaps a 1 month period of applications from community organisations in Martinborough for grants from Payne Farm for a 4 week period on the 1st of February.
is that going to fit with our timing?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't necessarily have to set a limit for the total until we see what comes in necessarily.
Through you, Chair, we need transparency. So when people apply for grants, we need to be able to say this is the amount that we've got so that there's some guidance here. Yeah.
Okay, so I accept Aidan's proposal. Does anybody have any dispute? Question? Alteration?
Is there any way that we can open it earlier than the 1st of February? Like open it earlier and close it earlier so that we can actually look to be.
When's our meetings?
I'm just going to say
Like
too,
our next meeting is
Yeah. So your
Just checking our first meeting
Your
date.
first meeting is scheduled for Thursday, the 15th of February.
February.
Okay.
There's no reason why we can't open it earlier,
And of that as
sort of something like mid-January,
Correct.
but I doubt if there'd be much action going on from us there, but people could certainly apply.
That's and I think too, that's also when a lot of people have the time to do it.
Okay, so if we were to say, instead of the 1st of February, to say the 15th of January, that would run for a month and that would coincide with our first meeting, which we may be able to pull some decisions down. That sound all right?
You might need longer. You'll need a month to at least 4 weeks to advertise it, and then you'll need
Yeah,
minimum of 2, if not 3 weeks turnaround for grant checking.
yeah.
Because I know that there will be admin processes which staff will have to, collate all those applications. I mean, we receive applications on a community board.
Okay, maybe I expressed myself incorrectly. If people have a month to put their proposals forward, we would have a month to analyse what's coming.
So through you, Chair, what we can do is we can send you those application
Yeah.
forms through earlier, but you'd need to have a meeting to go through a process of evaluating them all and deciding on those grants at the same time.
Would that be one of these meetings?
Can I ask if that maybe we don't receive them as they come, that we actually receive them as a
As a whole?
group?
Oh,
Yeah, as a whole,
Is,
yeah,
is that okay? I feel that's fairer.
yeah, because then you can look at them in connection with each other.
4th of April.
Yeah.
She's starting to get long now, aren't we?
For you, Chair, what about your suggestion, perhaps start advertising and allowing start advertising in fact whatever it was, the 15th of January, but then perhaps schedule an extraordinary Martinborough Community Board meeting somewhere between the 13th of February and the next one on the 4th of April, just to consider the grants.
That sounds, that's what I say, that sounds fair enough to me too. We could have a special meeting. Is that you agreeing, Mel?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that perhaps that date doesn't need to be set or scheduled now, but as the process starts working in the new year, an extraordinary date can be set in perhaps.
Okay, so what we're heading to agreement on, we've got something to say?
We would need a cut-off point for that date, so people know that they need to get them in by that
Yeah,
date.
yeah.
Set that today.
So through you, Chair, I've resolved to set the Pain Farm funding round for 15th of January through to the 29th of February, which is the end of February. So that would be the Pain Farm grant funding round. And I have put that there will look to add
Special meeting.
an extra ordinary meeting.
And
Which would be,
Early March.
early March.
Okay, does everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do we have now?
Can I add an amount?
Now, we've got to.
Sorry, through you, Chair, I was also keen for just an amount that you would like. So we have the date and for a grant funding pool of,
I don't think we could go more than $50,000 based on the figures that we have in front of us for the 30th of September, because at the moment there's $98,000 in there, according to these figures. Take out the $40,000 that we've got to keep, it leaves us $60,000. It's pretty tight, even at 50.
through you, Chief, as well, with the grant funding round, you don't necessarily need to spend it all. A number of our grants have had multiple grant funding round.
Yeah, so
I think maybe we set it less, because we can always do another Pain Farm funding round sort of later, next year or whatever. And I just think
next year.
not next year, the year after. Sorry, we've been talking about this all year.
Just out about just how long is it since any money was allocated?
Nothing was funded out of Payne Estate in the 219 to 222 triennium, because the focus on the community board then was to restore the properties and get them back up to standard. The previous community board up until 2019 had utilised Payne Estate funding for the Waihinga Centre here.
the only other thing I found was cricket pitch covers.
Cricket pitch covers.
That's the only other thing I could find.
That wasn't between 2019 and 2020.
Okay,
Right.
so you're settling on a figure of 40?
This is the other thing I was saying about, sorry, if anyone sort of thinks, that you would almost have an expectation that there would be amounts accruing or increasing because there wasn't anything for those 4 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm wondering if we go less. I mean, even look at something like $20,000 or 30.
No.
But I know it's hard, but the thing is, I'm concerned by these numbers. I don't want us to receive another pain farm thing saying that again, we can't afford to do anything again.
So just through you, Chair, just a reminder that at the last Martinborough Community Board meeting, there was a discussion around the Martinborough pump track.
Yep. No, I'm conscious of that.
We haven't made a firm agreement on anything with that.
Well, no, we still haven't had any paperwork, so we still don't even know what they want.
Yeah.
Well, we do.
We do.
Well, yeah, I mean, we know what we know what we all want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Through you, Chair.
Yeah.
Nikki, you said previously what the total was or the ceiling was before council has to approve and grant
35.
35, so if it's over 35.
Yeah.
Is that
If a grant goes over 35, it would
A grant or?
A grant.
a grant.
It's not, yeah, it's just.
And it needs to go through council.
to one organisation or?
Yeah, so it doesn't affect what we choose to do.
So I'd like to move that, I'd like to move not only, the dates, for the funding round.
Yeah.
But also a value of 35,000, go, into this funding round for, from the Payne estate.
Can we just talk, James, you want to say something?
James, you got your hand up.
James?
That's Sarah that's got her hand up.
Oh, sorry.
So why does it say James?
I thought it said James.
Project office on
Speak seconds.
Hi team, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take a moment to say that that from my understanding of the financials that you could safely allocate 50,000 because you're correct that the rates go out all of a sudden at the beginning of the financial year.
Yeah.
And so although there is future maintenance to be incurred, there's also income to be earned. So you're not suddenly going to find yourself in a more dangerous position at the end of this financial year than you're currently at.
Yeah.
So the 98,000 that is available will not change too much from now onwards. And I just made sure that finance indicated that that includes money that had been paid out for the garage, so that is itemized there.
Okay. So thank you for that, Sarah. I don't know if it's going to change our thoughts. Do we have any thoughts to change?
I actually like the idea of it being $50,000.
You don't.
I don't.
You don't.
Do you?
I don't.
I think we should spend it.
Because when the grant funding comes, we then see the latest set of figures at the point where we're making those decisions. We've said we don't have to allocate the whole of the 50 grand if we choose not to.
Okay.
So I just think it looks a more reasonable amount than anything too small.
Okay. So I don't know how I'm going to split this vote.
Yes.
I'm going to suggest first and foremost that we have two options to consider. The first one is 35,000 and the second one is 50,000. So I'm going to ask to vote which one you would prefer. Does that sound fair enough? No, I'm getting smirks and I'm not getting its comment. What do you think?
No,
It does.
That sounds good to me.
Sounds good. Okay. So can I have a vote for those who want to support $35,000
$35,000 in the grant,
in the grant fund?
not 35,000 votes.
No. Sorry, 35,000 votes. Okay. And those who wish to support 50,000? Oh, God, I'm in the voting.
All right.
you're casting vote.
All right.
That's right. Okay, just because Payne Farm is so special, I'm going to support the 50,000 grant.
Okay.
That's the money we're going to put in. And I'm, Sarah, I'm relying on you to be clear with that amount of money.
Those overheads down at the council meetings.
Can I just get the, sorry, through you to get the resolution moved and seconded and passed. The resolution is to set the Payne Farm funding round for 15th of January through the 29th of February 2024 for a grant funding pool of $50,000 from the Payne Farm account.
Yes, that. Everybody agree?
Sorry, and can, that'll be specific, it's open for the Martinborough community, a town, like wider ward, isn't it? Like what community, Martinborough.
In accordance with the deed or the.
Yeah, with the distribution policy.
I think we're taking it as read that the Martinborough Board is or the Martinborough Ward is the only beneficiary.
That's it, yeah.
To resolve, I'll just
We're
repeat.
taking that on board, but if somebody sees it in the paper saying $50,000, then they might just, apply it if it's not, specified, that's all.
Okay.
Perhaps if we refer to the distribution policy, so anybody wants to have them, they can go onto the council website and specifically have a look at the distribution policy.
Sorry, before they do that, can that be updated even if it's only just the logo? Please? The distribution policy looks wet.
So through you, Chair, yes, it is on the list for the policies that need to be reviewed. So I'm just going to read this one last time. Resolved to set the Payne Farm funding round for 15th of January through the 29th of February 2024 for a grant funding pool of $50,000 from the Payne Farm account for the Martinborough community in accordance with the deed in the Payne Farm income distribution policy.
I move
Beautiful.
Second it?
Yeah.
Yes, so, and Angela? Okay, could we have a vote? All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Any against?
No.
Was that you nearly getting against? No,
Oh, sorry, no, I'm with.
I got you.
Aye.
Okay, so we've got through that one. So the next one is to talk about the Wairarapa Combined District Plan submission. I was planning, when does that due?
19th of December.
No, I thought it was something like 20th, 19th.
Yeah, no.
I'm planning a submission, but I don't know whether I do it on behalf of the board or separately. I'm quite happy to share it once I've done so.
Mhm.
Does anybody else have any, did we have one other submission we want to talk about?
With the one about the Payne Farm. Collaborative plan.
No, Wairarapa District.
Oh, the district plan, the combined district plan,
It's a
sorry.
WDCP one.
No, this is the only one I think for the district plan is the only thing I was going to do, so.
I was going to talk to Alistair Plum because apparently he's on the case, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I will do in the next few days is submit to you what I have as a proposal.
Mm.
And I'm going to do a vote. If you're
Yeah.
happy to go with it, I'll submit it after that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay,
Have you read the entire document, have you thought? It's a bit of.
only the important bits,
Only the what?
only the important
The
bits.
bits I found, they remember, and he said, what about? And I go, there it is, it's there.
Okay, so moving on. Vote, we don't need to vote or anything like that, do we?
What about that page 278, eh?
Good question.
Sorry, moving on.
Yep.
The Christmas parade
Yay.
was last week. Did anybody go?
You were organised.
I did go to a number of things actually involving and around the Christmas parade on the weekend, so
So look, Angela's the key person here, but I do have a few, hello, Sarah, you're in the picture. I have a few comments, but I'll allow Angela to fill in the full details. But what we've got is a traffic management plan. We've also got assistance through Lions and Rotary for marshals. And Aidan has kindly volunteered to organise the floats as departure. Thank you, sir. Did you know that? Oh, good.
Councillor McCrawley is going to assist as well.
Yeah, and so I'm going
I'm
to be
delivering the VIP.
okay, and I'm going to be a floater to see that everybody behaves themselves. So we're kicking off. Everybody needs to make sure they're assembled and down here. The marshals will need to be here by 4:30.
Yep.
Outside P&K,
Yep.
and I'll give instructions as to where they need to go. Is there anything else we need to know? I'll pass over to Angela, who's been far more involved in the organisation.
The only other thing we really need to know is that the South Wairarapa Rotary have allocated $500 towards the traffic management plans.
Have they?
So the rest of it won't be coming out of ours. We did ask for $2,000.
Then what they gave us 500.
So, but it was better than
Better than nothing.
nothing. Yeah, so.
We're funding the rest, are we?
So, yeah, so, but some of the funds that we applied for, and now we don't need them because the men shed paid for everything, Mitre 10 paid for the paint, so lots of things being paid for. And the fundraising went pay for the bike pipe band. So the only expenses are literally the 2 traffic management plans, which is about 1,700. So we've got 2,000 allocated.
There's 2 parts of it. There's the plan itself, which has been approved.
Yeah.
Then there's the installation of the plan.
Yeah.
So I'll get Nikki to make sure she receives the invoice, which I've seen for the
It's in the one.
for the plan. And then I'll make sure that Pete gets us something for the installation. He may not do his till after he's completed because he won't know the numbers he's got.
We just need to split the bill between, the money's going to be paid to Madcaps, so we just need to get Madcaps to pay $500 towards that bill.
Okay.
So we'll sort that out once the bills are all
So
filled in.
through the chair, can I ask if those plans are reusable in future years? Because that legislation all changed, didn't it?
Look,
Be redone.
I would think, maybe Stephen can give us help on this one, but I would think that there wouldn't be too much issue if we stick to the same course.
Hang on, but it's a template.
Next year, you agree?
It'll certainly be helpful, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You'll have to resubmit the.
Resubmit the plan, yeah.
If you're doing exactly the same thing, it's going to really help you with the template.
Yeah. So I would suggest that it's well organised now. So if we're not going to change our plans too much, then we'd probably just resubmit this one.
It's quite a lot of money, it's $1,700.
It would probably just need somebody to go through and tick and change the dates and approve it. It'd
Okay.
be much less. Okay. So that should be okay for that.
I'd just like to say, been great, that Angela and Storm have been, working with others in the community to get that community event, that Christmas parade up and running again after it fell over in previous years. So thanks a lot for your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
Excuse me. Look, the plan at this stage is we were just helping people. Hopefully next year, people incorporated now will be able to step up to what we're doing and we can just assist them where we need to.
That's spoken by
Helping
Mark,
people is what we
how many
do.
hours I spent on this.
Certainly interesting. A lot of time on that. But yes, it's something we hope will be a lot easier next year. We're actually starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Anything outside of what we have currently, the money we've currently ring fenced that we need to resolve tonight for?
We've got the money ring fence for the Christmas luncheon for the seniors, the $200 that we've put to one side for that.
Yeah.
Which will get spent. I just need to work out how we're going to give that to them.
Thinking more for the Christmas parade.
But for the Christmas parade, no, we have $2,000. Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
so the last topic we've got is to talk about our end of year report. And I guess I'm going to call for an external meeting to discuss what we're going to put into it. Discuss what we've achieved and put forward what we want to do for next year's long-term plan, short-term plan, active.
No, this is a draft of it. It's not.
Do we have any commentary on that?
Just one comment. Why could I not find a copy of the Martinborough Community Board plan on our Martinborough Community Board page?
Yes, so through you, Chair, it is in a backlog, and the wonderful Robin, who.
It's your fault, is it?
Yeah, no, it's my fault. We'll be helping.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with us with that work.
All right,
Yeah.
that's good, that's good. So we'll call an informal meeting to discuss that next time. Nothing else to report on that?
No.
So that is the entirety of the report. So the next one is to welcoming communities.
Yes, and it is from Michaela, so
Apologies.
she's not yet to talk to her report, so we just need to move it past it.
Okay, so we're not going to discuss it?
Yeah, totally.
Does anybody want to discuss it? Has anybody looked at the pages?
I've been right through it because I have actually had a meeting with Michaela. To go through some of the elements that were in the report, just a couple of things on it. And we were talking about when does the, report transfer into actions and what her plans were moving forward with that as well. So she's done an amazing job getting all this collated and together and feel very confident she's moving in the right direction, and we will have actions that people can see next year of things that are coming along as well. So I just raised a couple of questions like it said people moving to the Wairarapa because of it was expensive it was less expensive than living in Wellington. And I did point out that I didn't think that was necessarily true. Because especially in Martinborough. But it was really interesting that she's been really connected well with the community board and spent a lot of time talking about where we're moving to.
Yeah, so Stephen, do you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. And thank you for the comments about the report and the excellent stock take report.
The report's excellent.
I think the opportunity here is probably not today, but to have a look at some of the activities that Michaela has suggested in her report and see if they might marry up with the community board's plan. And if there's some synergy there in the activity, that could be very helpful for the Welcoming Communities program. So what Michaela is really looking for is to work as closely as she can with the community boards to find where those areas of overlap might be in order to make the program more of a success.
Yep.
Okay, Stephen, just a qualification. This one is written with a bent towards Martinborough, but I take it the same has gone for the other two boroughs.
That covers pretty much it.
And so is there some thought of trying to merge activities or not?
Yes, we're certainly open to activity that encompasses the whole of the district.
So I think that could be something worthwhile. We could talk in our general meetings together about. This could be something.
The reason it's got a Martinborough bend is that Martinborough people were more. They said that more Martinborough people were evaluated than anywhere else.
Okay.
So more of the people had moved to Martinborough than anywhere.
Yeah, it's more the going forward of getting more of a uniformed approach.
Yeah.
So look, what I'm going to ask is, can we have a mover to accept the report
Yeah, I'll move that.
and a seconder? And we'll accept the report, and we can't have Michaela here to give us anything, but it's an excellent start.
And if you could pass on to Michaela too, this is an excellent report. Like I've found it informative and engaging, and it tells me all the things I want to know about this particular space. So and even though she's not here, hats off to her. So please, if you could pass that on, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay, so can you pass on?
Yeah,
Thank you very much for that. So the next one is the meeting schedule for ordinary meetings next year. Well, yes, if you wish to talk. Now, can I just ask a question? Are we happy with the 6-week cycle?
So through you, Chair, it is a little bit more next year. We've got a bit caught up at the beginning of the year with Easter.
Yeah.
Extra holidays, school holidays. So it is, I think, closer to 7 weeks next year.
Okay. Does anybody have any comment on whether we're having too many or not enough?
How many meetings will we have this year? 7. 8. Is 7. No, it's 7.
Plus your one that you've just decided to add the extra meeting for the Pain Farm funding would take it to 8.
Does anybody have a comment on whether it's too many, too few?
I think when we were talking about it last year, it was that we wanted to keep them regular enough because we really wanted to get on top of Pain Farm.
Yeah.
And we knew that we wanted to keep that momentum going with that. So I suppose the question is, do we feel like we're in that position now where we have got there? I'm quite happy to accept the bigger gaps between the meetings, and we just do our informal get together in between.
What about the other style of meeting that we could hold? You any experience with those?
No.
No. Okay.
I through you, Chair. I definitely have a preference to hold proper official meetings. I think, actually, again, really well done, Nikki. When you look at the all of them together, and I think that's why the chart is so important, is because you could look at that and just go, oh, that's the Martinborough Community Board, and not understand the pressures that you guys are under. So thank you, because the chart where it shows all of the meetings and how you've tried to get us and fit everybody is really great. So thank you for doing that great job, because yeah, personally, this suits. I'm more than happy with what's been proposed, even though there's a little bit of extension. We are able to hold an extraordinary meeting when and if we need them. So thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, the other question I have is whether the day and time suit. Do we have any commentary about that? Is a Thursday a good day for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I can make Thursday work, yeah.
Is 7 o'clock a good time for everybody?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like we've got any dissenters, so it looks like we've got a good program. So look, can I just have, we want to accept this?
So, yeah, I need three things. I need to receive the report, adopt and delegate. So we
Adopt
need
the calendar.
Probably all three.
Oh, delegate what?
Yeah, okay. First of all, we need to receive the report, which has been moved. Thank you very much. And then we need to adopt the 2024 meeting schedule for ordinary meetings. So just through you, Chair, these are the official meetings, not any informal community get-togethers, which can be scheduled separately. And then 3 is to delegate to the Chief Executive the authority to alter the schedule of ordinary meetings following consultation with the Chair. And an example of that would be last week.
And that's standard practice. Didn't that back in 2000 in the last training?
Understand. So were you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like so we have a seconder, we've got a mover, we've got a seconder?
Yeah.
Okay, so all 3 are moved and seconded.
Thank you.
Okay. So moving on.
We're just going to carry it.
Go on, have a vote. Anybody, all 4?
All 4 in favour say
All right. Yeah.
Aye.
none of
Very
you.
much.
Okay,
Thank you all.
so there's the calendar sussed. Very good. Schedule for next year. Really happy. Payne Farm. Sarah, I guess this is why you're here. Want to accept the report first, or do you want us to? What's
Up
your...
to you. It's got it up to you.
So Sarah, before I nominate to accept the report, do you wish to comment on the report first and foremost?
No, thank you. I'm just here to answer any questions that come up in discussions with regards to it. I wanted just to give you an information report so that you're kept abreast of what's happening, and you're here to answer any questions.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that. And the report is quite comprehensive. Thanks very much. It keeps us fully up to speed. Does everybody have any questions from the report?
Tutelage mean?
What does-
Tutelage mean? Is it just the surrounding?
The surrounding property within a sort of a fence around a house.
Oh, I haven't come across that before. Here we are. I've learned something. So why did the tenant not realise that they had to maintain the curtilage?
There might be a little bit of English as a second language issue there,
Oh, okay.
and a little bit of information being relayed through a daughter. And so we're just going to pick that up in the next inspection just to make sure that that message has come through.
Quite a big undertaking, as I understand.
Pardon me, sorry?
It's quite a big undertaking. There's quite a lot of ground involved. Is that correct?
Agreed, yes. But they seem keen to take it on and not keen at this stage to reduce the immediate area, to reduce the scope of that work. So we decided just be iterative with it, look at it next time, and if it isn't being done, then think about that reduction in the size of that surrounding area around the homestead.
And the requirement for that work to be done, is that reflected in the rental charged?
I have to admit that I'm not involved in the residential tenancy and how that rental is set. But it's certainly specified in it, and it went to market with that being there.
Okay. So that was transparent, that was actually part of it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So Sarah, the work schedule for the fencing and shelter belts, is that in hand?
Yeah, so the shelter belts have been trimmed, and some of the boundary fence work that needs to be done with peat to the east and a small lifestyle block to the west is scheduled for mid-January. Okay. And that's sort of what has to happen immediately, and might be all that happens in this financial year, depending on where we are budget-wise after that work. But both neighbours have agreed to their 50% contribution under the Fencing Act.
Okay, so as long as you've talked to neighbours, they're happy with that, that's good?
Yeah, they've agreed to the quotes that we got.
Okay, very good. Aidan?
Just a couple of things. I know in the last year when the discussion was occurred around community board table about fencing off the areas, the waterway areas, and the cost of fencing. And I know council staff talked to a fencing contractor, and that was all priced up. So there was a huge cost, and I'd just like to ask that going forward, any costs of fencing, are there is just one quote obtained, or are there number of fencing contractors approached to provide quotes for that sort of work? I know, in these discussions here about floodgates, and their costs will be costs as well. I'm just be keen to see that, the community board and paying estate is getting the best value for money, as opposed to paying the gold-plated, I suppose, option.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
Well, to 3 quotes and he doesn't.
Page 5
Sorry.
says there was 3 quotes.
Yeah.
So Sarah, you can answer that one. You're quite happy?
Yeah, so we did obtain 3 quotes, just following the standard procurement policy, because of with the quantum, and I knew that that there would be attention to that, so I was keen to get 3, and they all came back in cooey of each other. The lowest one couldn't commence work until autumn/winter, which was too far away for the neighbours. And also we risk not being able to get access because it can be quite wet. So we actually passed up the lowest quote for being too far away, and then went with the next available one. Yeah, and so 2 so all local, but 2 very local, and 1 in the broader Wairarapa.
Okay. Thanks.
So sorry, can you just repeat that? There was 2 local and 1 border Wairarapa.
Yeah, so 1 that sort of works right across the Wairarapa,
So,
and 2 that are more Martinborough based.
So which was the one that couldn't do? Where were they from?
Couldn't do until next year.
Yeah.
And so Andrew Scott wasn't available until autumn/winter.
And the other point that I just asked a question about, there's the comment here or the paragraph here about water supply and how that was damaged. That the water supply, so that's the water supply to Payne Estate. Is that the water supply that's connected to the town water supply?
Yes, it's the town water supply to the farm. There's a separate one for the house, but the farm line in was damaged.
Okay, thanks.
And if that had been done in the future, where the lessee had done the work in a future trimming round, then they would have been responsible. But because we did the work, we considered that we were responsible.
Yes. No, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions?
Covered by insurance in that case?
Covered by insurance?
Covered by insurance?
No, so we have building and sorry. No, not covered by insurance. We've got building insurance, but not general infrastructure insurance across our farms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sarah, can you just give me an update? We've got 30,000 for insurance for the garage. Is it somebody's intention to rebuild that?
It's not. It's here.
Oh, well, I just read somewhere before that it was going to be rebuilt.
No.
In the statements.
No, so there's a decision to be made about how those funds are applied that the Martinborough Community Board should be involved in. And my suggestion was that we brainstorm some options and put up a paper for discussion in the new year. There's lots of potential ideas, and we would really value the community board's feedback on what should happen with those funds. It wouldn't be enough to rebuild a garage like it was, and it's probably not best use of the money at this point either. And so an options paper would explore what could happen.
And that's presumably the $36,000 of miscellaneous income that shows on
36,106.
Sorry?
36,106.
160.
No, 36,106.
I've got them transposed here, so anyway.
So,
$55 more or less, I'm not sure. But that is the sum, the 36,000.
Yeah.
Sorry, not trying to be smart.
That's correct. The 36,106 was what was received. And then the remaining after the demolition is the 30,232 showing as committed funds on this quarter's financials.
okay. So under the insurance policy, do we have any restrictions on what we can do with the funding?
I didn't look at an insurance policy, but I followed up with finance and they said that there wasn't, and they contacted the insurer as well. And their comment was that it should be used for improvements on the Payne estate, but there was no other restriction. But I will follow up on an insurance policy if that's something that we have.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay.
Would it be possible going forward on when we see the statements of financial performance, these statements were provided, to have the $40,000 or whatever we've got there towards the maintenance fund to be shown as a committed fund, so it's not grouped within the total funds available? Just so that it's always very clear that that's not money just in the pot, so we can see that it's always sitting there.
I'm totally open to making suggestions as to how these appeared. I tried to, from the feedback I've heard from you over some time, feedback to finance and got a few changes made in line with what I understood you needed, including trying to break down the income streams further. But I'm not sure if I'm fully understanding your suggestion around the. So as I understand it, the committed maintenance funds show as the budget and the income and expenditure show, and then so it wouldn't make sense to have 40,000 specified, but it might make sense to have the expected net profit or loss shown. Does that make sense?
Not at this stage.
No. Yeah, my understanding was that there was always to be a maintenance fund that $10,000 a time was allocated it to make sure it always stayed at $40,000. So when we're looking at total funds available, without taking that $40,000 into context, even if it's a note to the bottom of the accounts, we should always ensure that there is a maintenance fund kept to one side so we don't use it as funding that can just go anywhere else. So
but in the same time, you're also accruing income. So at any one time, you'll have income flowing in and expenses flowing out. So so specifying 40 wouldn't be quite accurate.
No.
There was a figure we put where council could operate without referring back to the board, but I think that was about 5,000, wasn't it?
I'll spend money
Without referring back to the board, I think it was a 5,000. But I can understand your point, Sarah, that if you put a $40,000 in and then you're also running in numbers of expenditure through the month,
For ins and outs.
you'll find that it doesn't quite match up to the end result. But I can see what we probably need a comments on it, and what is the relevance of the 40,000? Because if I've got your Mel, I'll get you in a minute. If we expend more than the 40,000, what does that cause us grief?
No. It shouldn't, not as long as we make a resolution for those. This is exactly the same as a resolution to put an amount of $40,000 aside. Wouldn't that just be considered like a regular commitment? Like that's the commitment there for.
Yeah, but I think, forgive me, Sarah, I think what you're saying is that we do have these expenditures coming in and they will be part of that 40,000, but they may not total up 40,000. They may in fact exceed 40,000. So putting a number aside may be false accounting.
But wouldn't we want to know if it's going to be more than $40,000?
Yes, we would like to know. And I think what we would be looking for is every month we see an expenditure item that tells us how much has been expended.
And what for?
Yeah,
Like, yeah. So we've got, can gauge what, where that money goes. Yeah.
so Sarah, does that sound fair enough?
Well, that's what we've got here.
Yeah, I know.
We can hold
That's what-
$40,000
We
now.
haven't been having it for a while, that's what I'm saying.
So through you, Chair, Sarah and Robert and I could have a chat offline about this and come back with some options for the next meeting.
Okay. All we're looking for, Sarah, is just a running total of what we're expending and how that's affecting the income of the Payne Farm, and that affects what we have potentially for outgoings.
Which makes perfect sense. And so I had read these as providing that in the year-to-date actuals as of September, so that in the first quarter, you can see what was spent in the first column of that top section across the different expenditure codes. And then in the next quarter, you'll see it to year-to-date December and so forth. But if there is a way that it could be presented in a clear manner, my only role is to give feedback to the finance team. So I received draft financials and then provided commentary on what I was saying, and they made some edits, and they seemed open to that. So we can definitely do that again in advance of the next distribution of financials. But I'm very much just in a feedback role.
Okay,
I think we're all right. Make track it.
right?
I think, well, we can track it as we're doing it every meeting now.
If we're getting at every meeting, then we can certainly keep track of it.
So,
That's something we can do.
James,
I think it's sufficient. I think it's sufficient.
James, you got something more to add?
Yeah, sorry, if it's of any consolation, we manage our profit and loss right across multiple GL codes that we have, including Payne Farm, on a monthly basis. So we're right across those finances. So should anything come up or project that it's going to be over the 40K or things like that, we'd obviously certainly be coming to you sooner rather than later. So I guess just rest assured that we closely monitor and manage the financials anyway, and we'd come to you if there was a need to.
Okay. In your understanding, James, what is the figure you have to refer it to us before you spend?
I don't have the policy in front of me, but I'll be referring to the policy.
I think it's 5,000, but maybe you want to check on that.
Yep.
we just need to have a resolution to receive the paper.
Okay. So we concluded discussion on that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate your input. Can I have somebody to move we accept the report? Thank you, Karen. Second it. Thank you, Aidan.
Chair, I'm gonna, well,
Gonna have to bolt, are you? We're nearly finished. Okay. Okay, so the final thing we've got is the income and expenditure report. Do we have anybody that wishes to speak to the report? Page 48.
she said I can.
Yeah. I hope I'm not drunk by that stage, but never mind. Do we have anybody to talk to that?
No, it's just if you
No.
have any comments or any discussion.
Does anybody have any comments or discussion about the expenditure income? I think we had something going around, and I've looked,
Something about why there was
wages,
wages, something.
I thought it was explained.
was it?
Yeah.
Can you explain it to me then?
So with the year end from the last lot handed over to the new lot. Between when they get the new people in, and some of it was from last time, added to this time, so it makes it look like another spend.
Right.
It was on other accounts as well. That's what was affected.
Yeah, and I think
because
turning rates as well.
Was there?
Oh,
Okay.
we can double check.
Okay.
No, it was,
Right, so ignore that. We don't need to worry about that then. So anything else we have to comment on?
Unusual in that, is there?
So Through you, Chair, one of the recommendations from the finance team is that we sit down, maybe a member of the Martinborough Community Board, myself and finance, and just go through any of the old grants which have not been claimed.
Yeah.
And just so that you can make a decision about whether you would like them.
Just as a rule of thumb, I'd like to propose to consider that if the grants have been unclaimed,
Yeah.
we're going to get a head knock.
But there was, right?
Going to get a head knock.
The head,
Stop them.
okay.
If nobody wants to claim them, then there's no point in keeping them out there.
The other question I have around the grants is the feedback, the report that comes to say that they've spent the money and is the receipts. So, because we don't ever get to see that.
Yeah, so through you, Chair, there is one, I believe, included from Charlotte Harding. And I've had another couple from Charlotte Harding that I'll send around tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just considering that in light of the grant that we've, funding request we've had from the play centre, because did we get one for the soft play that we already financed?
So through you, Chair, for that grant, they have not claimed yet, as that project's still not finished.
Still not finished.
Yeah, it's not. No. Which project? Sorry, it's soft play.
That's how it was going at this.
What's going on?
I think it came in well over what they had. There was a shift in pricing.
Right.
Yeah, and I think they're looking at.
That can hurt.
Okay, so we have a resolution, did we have a resolution to receive the income and expenditure report?
Yes, can we move that? Can I have a nominator?
Yeah.
Thank you, Angela. And a seconder? Thank you, Karen. Done?
Yeah, all in favour?
Okay.
What happened about the Christmas lights for the tree that wasn't? Did something happen with that?
Yeah, there was some emails went around from Charlotte regarding they couldn't get the original plans, so she sent around some emails to look at some other options that were similar.
Trees. Trees or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Pictures. Do we have a decision on which one they picked? Didn't we vote for a red one or try and thing?
But there's just no, I just wonder what's happening where the lights are and if we're getting some lights. Just a follow up to just find out where it was at, that was all. You see what I mean?
And we have, sounds like we haven't heard anything from Charlotte.
No,
Not for the light.
I will double check the email that we got a while ago.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're okay to receive the financial assistance report.
Yep. This is 9.5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I just need someone to move that and someone to second that.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Angela. We need any discussion on this?
Yes, so this is related to the two grants that have come in for tonight's meeting, the Trees of Martinborough, which are asking for $260 to support the next stage of development, and $1,000 from the Martinborough Play Centre to support the upgrade of security to be funded through either the grants or the Community Development Fund.
Okay, I thought we'd quietly supported the tree fund. Was that another one?
That's the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, they originally came for 2,000, we gave them 1,000 towards trees, and then they wanted the extra just to do the weed matting.
Weed matting, yeah. I thought we'd agreed with that.
It wasn't, we couldn't work on it at the last meeting because we didn't.
Okay, so do we agree with supporting the weed matting?
Yes,
You can't say anything.
I can't say anything.
you can't say anything. Oh, this is good.
The weed matting all right with you? For the tree group? No?
No.
Okay. So as a vote, can we just have a vote to support that? All those in favour say aye, all those against say no.
Sorry, no, if I could just, through you, Chair, Martin did say at the last one that he was going to do them sort of incrementally as the work was required. So that sort of covered that off for me.
Okay, thank you.
No, I just need somebody to move it and second it as well.
I thought we just did that.
We did that for the financial assistance report.
Oh,
I'll move it.
you just moved it and Mel's.
No,
seconded it.
thank you both.
Thank you. Now, the other one we have to discuss is the
Is the $1,000 for play centre?
Play centre. We have any commentary on the play centre request?
Yeah, through you,
Yes,
Chair,
by
I think that we have an opportunity here to support them, where others are, we're not the only ones, there's other people as well putting their support, and it's the amount that's being requested is already halved through assistance from external sources for them. So I think it's for myself personally, I do think that it seems it's a good time and a good opportunity to support Play Centre. Because even though they've done 2, before that they hadn't done any in a really, really, really long time.
So I've got no problem with it anyway. That's how much you get per annum.
Okay.
I see it. But, hang on, don't get to.
Okay. All right.
Yep. Dollars $289.
Sorry, just through you, Chair, but maybe as well, I think the other thing though, as you said in Anna's presentation, is I think we would need to put into the resolution that you want to see, that we need to just see the figures around it too.
Yeah.
And so just so it's clear,
Doesn't mention that one.
transparency.
I think Storm did ask for some.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit loose.
Then we haven't finished yet.
Just in the resolution, I think
That's
it's
okay,
important we say,
I
the
Yeah, cool. I think
money's
we did.
contingent on it.
Is that right, Storm? Sorry, that
No.
did ask for something in writing
We just
for
have
the
Play Centre.
Play Centre's money.
Yes.
Already done that.
Yeah, so if we have for the resolution agree to fund $1,000 to Martinborough Play Centre on the provision provided they supply
Details on the pricing.
detailed quote.
Okay, so you'll be getting it?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I'll send it round to you all to agree via email that you're happy with that quote.
Okay,
Yeah, because it just would be good to see.
the tricky thing will be whether Tony can actually complete it.
You can just find it.
Okay, so just
Okay.
I need that.
So can we have a nominator and a seconder for that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can second.
Anything else we have to debate?
So we've just got, that's all for the finances.
Yep.
Yeah. So we've just got action items and members report left.
Okay, so the action items.
So that we just need to receive the action item report.
Okay, can I have a mover for the action item report, please? Gonna pull down to one of you two. quick.
Yeah, go on.
Thank you.
Yep.
Seconded.
Yes.
Darren,
Thanks.
thank you. You want to go through the action item reports? No, you don't, okay.
Well,
No.
we haven't done it last twice, I don't think, have we? Why don't we just, if anyone,
Through the chair, can we rename this the election?
well, we could just ask if anything's happened.
Nothing ever happens, does it?
Yeah.
We've got, yeah, we can
We'll
remove
have
the
opportunity.
item 284 can be removed. We've got a defibrillator has now been in place, thanks to Nigel and the team. So that has now been done and can be removed.
So we can tick that off, yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually.
There you go, so that's important.
That is indeed. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
So Nigel was able to get that placed over at the fire
Yeah.
station. So it's
Yeah.
really, it's really great actually. So people, it makes a bit of sense. People go over there for help.
It's great, yeah, and we had 38 people do the CPR class and learn how to use the defibrillator last week, so.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the other thing obviously that will come off is the communication on the website, Plain Farm Funding Grant, clarification that was done, updated.
What number is that?
Number 276, so that's another one that will be
276, right?
as the The other thing that's on here, which is about these signs. Remember the signs we talked about? There was a discussion to actually combine the two signs and work on it in conjunction with the Maori Standing Committee, possibly as a project.
And put up the top.
Yeah, this was to combine both of them as a project between us, possibly for next year, and re-look at it then at that point.
That was sitting with
Fresh.
Pip, wasn't it?
Was sitting with Pip, yeah.
Still sitting there?
Yeah, so that's why we're saying now, I talked to Pip and we said, why don't we look at combining the two and see if there's any people who want to work on it as a project.
The first two.
There we go, James has got his hand up.
Yeah,
James?
sounds great.
Oh, thank
James?
you. There's just a couple of actions on there against my name that could be, they're still open, but the comments really suggest that they're closed. The one about reserve management plans, as per the comment there, we're putting budget into the draft LTP at the moment in the hope that we can have those reviewed across the district. So that could potentially be closed, that action, although the plans haven't been done, but it answers the question. There's another one further down about the Kiranui College gym and use of the grounds. As I've mentioned back in October, those grounds are already used by the sports clubs. Wasn't actually part of the MOU to use the grounds, but they do use them anyway. So that one could potentially be closed as well.
I think, James, from that one, I think, wasn't it one that was from the sports club?
So it was from the football.
Like the football club were wanting money for us to fund the use of Kiranui College fields, and Aidan suggested that part of the MOU was that those grounds would be available to them. That's the question we have to ask, is it available to them so they don't have to raise money to pay for them? Because at the moment, the sports club is going to be charged for using the grounds.
For using the Kiranui College grounds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
I know they have used them in the past a number of times, and the college has accommodated them when Soldiers Memorial hasn't been available. I wasn't aware that there was a charge involved.
Well, when they made an application for funding for equipment, part of their request for equipment was also to help fund applications to use the grounds, which
It wasn't
charged.
specified as Kiranui. It said to use a sports ground.
Sports ground, yeah.
So it wasn't specific.
But Kiranui College was highlighted from there.
Yeah.
One they could use.
Yeah.
So the question we've got to ask is, do under that loan agreement, do we have access for that sports club to use the grounds?
Let me follow up with the college and the sports clubs about the charging of it.
Okay.
Like I say, I know they are used. I'm not sure if there is a charge involved.
Leave it on there.
Okay.
I think the MCB number 277 with Karen, MCB requested current and entity accounts to be made available to board members. Is that still relevant when we've already got accounts now?
I think we can call it complete, can we?
Quite off.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's no point leaving it there now. Karen's not there. And the LTP and AP 254 with Amanda, we have actually got that long-term plan session coming up, where I've asked if we could actually include all our board members, which would be able to eliminate that as well.
Okay. I know Amanda did have a Zoom session, but we couldn't make.
Yeah.
So that's still open for a meeting. Okay, so we can probably tick that one off then.
I think we've got a few of them gone off there.
So Stefan, while you're here, item 030, which is a request of workshop with officers to discuss the process of reviewing the Memorial Square development plan. On your list?
It's on a list. It's on a longer list of very similar jobs, not currently budgeted.
Okay.
Which is, I think, James, you might probably want to say something else on that.
Is that what you want to say, James?
Yeah, so that comes under the same piece of work as the management plan. So we'd also look at development plans at the same time, because all of those plans, if they're even in existence, are out of date.
Right.
Yeah, we're definitely not putting that off, and we would very much like to revisit all of those plans, and we actually have a way of doing it which we think is quite efficient, where you use a template that the common features are considered up front, and then the individual plans where there is differences are done underneath. But we just need some people to be able to do that, because it's a very big job.
Okay. Okay, so that's still on the ongoing list.
But there's no immediate pressure to do anything radical with the square.
Do you have any others left yet, Stephen?
No, that's perfect.
We've pretty much ticked them off.
Yeah.
Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Tick them off, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the final item we've got is the members' report, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, can we have we need to.
somebody.
So can we have a nominator to receive the members' report? Can we have a
I'll
second?
nominate. Second.
Okay, so you've got a second there. So Karen, do you want to comment on the members' report?
Or at the meeting on Tuesday where we discussed this matter, and I'm not sure why we've lost so much time on it, but we're making progress now, and I don't see that we need to perhaps go any further on why we went 13 months without making progress. And I'm pleased to read today that we've got some quite useful mitigations that have been determined, which we didn't even talk about on Tuesday actually, since then we can come up with this warning cone, that was which is the
Flashing light. So
sorry?
it's a flashing light.
A flashing light, thank you, which is a solar powered thing, which seems as though it will be quite useful.
Is it solar powered?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I can see the.
And that Dan and his team are embarking on a tender process, and will be preparing some contract documents in-house, I understand, ready to be put on the GETS platform early in the new year. The only issue I've got with the GETS platform, I haven't worked with it myself, but I've had some discussions with people who know about it, is my understanding is quite an expensive platform for people to engage with. So in other words, it may preclude our local supplier.
Shouldn't be.
Can we, on
You
that?
just have to be an applicator. You just have to be associated to receive GETS reports, and you can apply them.
Is that right?
Yeah. I was a member for GETS. You don't have to pay anything to do it. You just have to pay to be receiving the.
Don't give you incorrect information. My understanding is that it's not expensive, and it's very widely used.
Yeah.
It's the platform.
I was aware of it. I was aware it was widely used, but I did have a comment that there was a certain amount of cost involved in being on it.
Yeah, you just.
Comply with certain health and safety and have certain paperwork that can be quite expensive too.
You just have to pay a fee. Now, I'm not sure, Stefan, because we would be using GETS to advertise a project, we wouldn't have to pay for that, would we?
Sorry, I don't know.
Okay. Because the other thing is, what you have to do, you have to pay to become a recipient of GETS. So you pay a fee for that, and that's all you pay for.
A recipient of it, what do you mean?
You get GETS. So you pay to get GETS,
On it, or
to be on it.
Yeah.
And then you can apply to any tenders that appear on it.
Yeah.
That kind of information is probably available online.
Yeah.
But I could also do a bit
Well,
of.
could I ask that you sort of clarify whether that is likely to exclude our local supplier?
GETS is a free service designed to promote open, fair competition for New Zealand government contract opportunities.
So they changed it to a free service to anybody, because that's good.
Free to advertise and maybe not free to get.
It's free for people to use it who are looking to ask for tenders. Is it free for people who are able to provide tenders through that service? That's really my question.
But the other thing you can do from GETS is you can list your name with certain specifics of interest.
Yeah, or role.
They have a wide list of interest topics.
I didn't want to get into too much technical detail. There was a comment that came to me that there was a certain amount of cost for companies to be on that platform and able to engage with it. It might be wrong, I don't know.
No, it's not expensive from memory that I had.
Sorry?
It's not expensive from memory.
From memory, okay, if we can just clarify that, that was my only
Yeah.
concern, that local small.
Yeah, I suppose within light of the procurement policy's preference for local suppliers.
That's right.
Is it possible to let local suppliers know it is now listed on GET?
Well, we've done that.
We've done that, so that's it. So it's covered.
We supplement the tender documents and this.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So it's already covered.
So it's pre-advertised.
Look on there so that they know. Yeah.
We do not believe it will preclude the local supplier on the basis of any sort of cost. Can that be confirmed? Yeah.
What?
That's what the website says.
Yeah, so, yeah.
It used to pay a corporate fee. Maybe you don't pay a fee now for it.
But it's free to look at it, is that what you're saying? But then the people that are actually on, it's free to be on it?
You're not on it.
You want it.
You're looking at tenders.
So if there's a contract, you log in if there's a contract you want to tender for. But I
You
think
can immediately
what
do it.
you're talking about is more the cost to the company of complying with health and safety requirements or planning or things. It's not a cost to
On the
access.
platform?
No.
Okay, no,
But
that's
it
fine.
can cost, the supplier has to have certain health and safety
Yeah.
protocols and plans and things in place. And that's where things can get a bit tricky.
Get a bit
But
expensive.
they're standard for tendering for.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
for any
yeah, no, I
business,
understand
any
that.
for
I
any
work in the
business.
space, but yeah, I've never used GETS. I've
Yeah,
always
it's-
run my
I
own
just looked at it
tenders.
online on Google. So.
May I've just
Fine.
finished.
Brilliant, that's good.
Stephen, can I ask you, thanks for the email today about the beacons and that.
Mm.
Are you planning to mount the beacon on a post?
Yeah, we've gone
Is that where the Belisha beacon,
the top meter post.
is that the Belisha beacon post you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
What are you doing with the Belisha beacon?
I don't know, taking.
It's a bleaker, I think it's a bleaker disc, not a beacon.
I'll take it down and swap it back.
Belisha.
So what is the post supported on, or it sits on quite a high post like that?
Yes, the amber flashing beacons will sit on the top of the post.
Yeah.
4 meter post. So I don't know what, I don't know what we'll do with the disc.
Will you put them back once you put the things on?
The other thing I just ask is that, is this an acceptable Belisha disc replacement? So you can have a Belisha disc or you can have a Belisha beacon. This is a beacon which will emit light. A disc is a retroreflective material. That was a lower cost version of what you could do. So Belisha discs are what we've got, I think, out there. We haven't got any powered Belisha beacons. And I'm just wondering whether this is right, because the other thing it doesn't do is conform in colour. The Belisha. Belisha is got to be orange or fluorescent orange.
But these are temporary anyway. Like, do we need to, what does it comply with?
Glow transport.
You may want to know more about this than I do, Chair. I mean, is the question you're asking me to confirm whether this conforms with New Zealand road standards?
No, the first question I was asking, where you're going to put it? And so you're going to put it on top of the pole. That's great. So
Are there suitable poles even here? I thought that was one of the issues.
The poles that we currently put the discs on will be the poles that we put the.
Yeah.
Okay, and there are two on every crossing. There's one.
I think you might qualify with this one, the colour now, thinking about it. The Belisha disc, the Belisha beacon was a globe that was yellow-ish, but it faded, it could turn into any colour. But that was just a flashing disc that had to go on. This is going to flash all the time within a minute. Is that what you're talking about? It's going to continuously flash at night time. It's going to be phased in at a certain hour and then flash.
Like any solar lights, when it gets dark in the tree,
Uh-huh.
it gets silent, switch off.
Comes off, okay. All right, sounds like a good solution.
It's enough power to go all night, so people can't charge up.
So is the intention there to put it on?
Sorry, if I could just through you, Chair. Thank you, Stefan, for these beacons. I mean, honestly, they are a brilliant. When I was first wanting something to be done about this and being advised, your solution now is actually what I was seeking. So, flashing lights, indicators that there are people. This is great. So thank you very much. And the one thing I would ask is how cost prohibitive is it? Like, is it quite expensive? Because would it be on the basis that none of them are compliant at the moment, would it be something that could be placed across all of the pedestrian crossings in town?
If I can answer that, I think this is designed to deal with the two emergency health and safety issues you've got around the square.
Yeah.
Everything else is beyond that. So this is, I think, just intended for those ones.
We're going to place the flashing lights on all four crossings on the square, but you're right, the primary focus was on those most dimly lit ones, but given we're doing it, we're going to put it on all four. And I did receive a request today for them to also go on to Jellicoe, which is quite a tricky crossing. So I've asked him if that's possible, and if it is, we'll definitely do it.
So around the square, is the intention to do one on the square side as well as the central position, so there'll be two? Is that the intent? So where you've got crossing,
one on each side.
On each side, that's it. Yeah. So when you get something like, sorry, Karen, but when you get something like the Jellicoe intersection, are you going to do it to the other sides as well that go across Jellicoe? So you come across from Memorial Square to the corner of Jellicoe, then you go. So that would require maybe four.
The other crossing that I'm referring to is the one that just goes straight across Jellicoe.
Down by the fish and chip shop.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah, one on each side of those.
I'm just saying for the four around the square, you're only talking about the traffic, the pedestrian crossing that goes across from the square to the central island. Okay.
There's no issue on Jellicoe Street with residential housing or anything like that, having a flashing light going on, no?
We'll see.
I was going to say, well, it's that.
I think the health and safety, I mean, the instructions I've received from my CE are that the health and safety aspect here has to be acted on as a priority.
Yeah, cool.
And I will explain that to anyone who's basis of query.
Then there's the intention to get the more permanent solution.
No.
Yeah.
Give her a note. Give her a warning.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you for this. I think it's a brilliant, just the other day we were talking about the mitigation measures and what can we do, because I mean, we're such a small community. To be honest, I've been terrified. I've been constant. It's been this constant, particularly because I'm the one who's at school and I'm the one who's parents and I'm really accessible, and it's the stories have been horrific. The kids are so shaken and scared, and some of them just they're hitting their actual bikes as they're crossing on the pedestrian crossing. So I mean, it just, thank you. This at least means I can sleep a bit better at night. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the response. So that virtually sums up the meeting tonight and the last one for the year. So I thank you for your diligence and persistence. Members and staff, thank you for that. I'll call officially now that it's a close. Do you want to say a karakia to say goodbye?
Oh, sure, I can, but just through you again, Chair, if I could just say thank you very much to the Chief Executive for making time to come to our meeting tonight. I certainly really appreciate that, knowing the pressures on your time and things. So it's been a long time since we've seen a CE, so thank you very, very much.
Yes, do thank you for turning up. That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
So we finish?
Yeah.
Just one other thing, just an announcement of what we're going to do next year.
We finish. Have you finished the meeting?
The meeting is now closed. Do
Want to do a here?
you want to do a karakia? Okay,
Hi.
wait.
Unuhia ki te uru tapu nui, kia wātia, kia mama, te ngākau, te tinana, te wairua, e te ara takatu, koia rā e rongo, whakairea ake ki runga, tūturu whakamaua kia tīna, hui e tai ki e.
Thank you. Just
Ko
one
Māori.
comment. One thing I was going to say.
Yeah.